Hello and welcome to Culture Shark, a live stream about all things pop culture. I'm Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Today, we are reviewing a long lost Disney film from the 80s. Something wicked this way comes. A work I have heard of, but I knew really nothing about. I think you're kind of in the same boat. Um,
I had not heard of it until you brought it up.
Yeah, this is based on a Ray Bradbury book, and this is from a lot of people consider Disney's Dark Ages. They were doing a lot of darker films, The Black Hole, Watcher in the Woods, Return to Oz, Black Cauldron, and they just had Tron. They had a lot of flops.
hmm
People were losing faith in Disney that this was a family company and I think the '80s is a real interesting time. We get a lot of amazing creativity in movies, but there's always a dark edge to it. A lot of the children's entertainment back then all had a dark edge, like Neverending Story, or even like Land Before Time.
Yeah.
Even stuff like that. Or Watership Downs. And if you look at our country, we were coming out of Vietnam and the Watergate, and the country was just coming out with something very bleak, and so you could kind of see it reflected in our entertainment at the time.
That's something that I've noticed a lot. Is you can take a look at like a country and look at their entertainment, and you can kind of see what was going on at the time per their entertainment. Um, I say more so Western, Western society than Eastern society.
Hmm.
Um, because even Eastern entertainment at this point is kind of based on Western entertainment.
Yeah, so we're coming out of this dark era in the United States, and now there's something more hopeful. We're starting to see it's the era of Reagan, more rah rah, Rocky, Rambo, those types of movies. And so we got this interesting time where creativity is kind of off the chart with movies, and there's still a dark edge to it. And so here we have something wicked this way comes. Now, so both of us, we don't have any nostalgia for this movie.
Yes,
Um, and I think it hits us a little differently than if you grew up with this a movie, I would say.
probably.
Uh, this is based on a Ray Bradbury book from the '60s, I believe,
62.
and it's a little bit based on his life, his experiences of going to the carnivals and the people he met, and so he bases some of his characters in the story on that. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick little just plot summary, and then we'll kind of talk about what we liked and what we didn't like about the film. So,
Mm.
so this story is about two boys. Um, one of them
Will
is
and Jim.
Jim Nightshade, which I think is one of the greatest names ever. I just love that name, Jim
It kind of,
Nightshade.
you know what? It does kind of give me the vibes of because I've always said that the coolest name that because Keanu Reeves is an actor who has a lot of cool names in movies like
Mm.
Neo and Johnny Mnemonic, John Wick, um, Johnny Utah, stuff like that. I've always said the coolest name he's ever had is from The Replacements, Shane Falco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Um,
Jim Nightshade gives me kind of that vibe.
yeah, and these are best friends, but they kind of are opposites. They kind of want different things. Jim Nightshade's dad is out of the picture. Supposedly, he's a world explorer, and Jim is waiting for the day his dad comes back. And then Will, his dad is in the picture, but his dad is older in his 50s, and they have trouble connecting. He
hmm
doesn't do things with his son like other dads. because he's just too old. And in one sense, you have Will, who wants to stay young. He wants to be a kid, enjoy life. And you have Jim, who's just eager to grow up, and he wants, like, there's a scene where at the carnival, and he wants to check out the hot women, the hot dancers, and Will wants nothing to do with it. It's that you're going from that phase of, ooh, girls are icky, to, ooh, hey,
Yeah.
good looking, and so there's this dichotomy between the two kids. So this mysterious carnival shows up, led by Mr. Dark, and
Played by Jonathan Pryce.
yes, and he kind of offers people. It kind of reminded me of like the Stephen King movie, which I haven't seen, but I know about, Needful Things, where they're offering.
Oh yes.
It's like the devil offering these deals to people, and it turning out wrong. It's the monkey's paw. For instance, there's one guy that's was a football player that lost his arm and leg, and he just wants to be able to play football again, and so he's tempted to have his arm and leg back. There's a guy that just wants women. There's the old school teacher who just wants to be young and beautiful again. And so it's a lot about temptation and regret, and you contrast the two dads, Jim Nightshade's dad and Will's dad. Jim's dad, supposedly is this great adventurer that took all these chances, and then Will's dad is kind of scared of everything, and he just doesn't take chances. And so, it's about how Will's dad, Mr. Holloway, he's full of regret, and then Jim Nightshade's dad, he's not perfect either, because he went out to experience the world, but he abandoned his family in the process. So there's some of the themes that are in the movie. There's also a mysterious, he's like a vagrant that sells lightning rods that shows up. He seems to be, there's a lot in this movie that's not fully explained, and I think I'm okay with that. I like there to be some mystery. I don't need everything spoon-fed to me. There seems to be like there's been this ancient battle going on between the carnival and their temptations and these lightning rod salesmen. But it doesn't really go into it, other than the carnival always ends with a great storm, and the lightning rod salesman is selling. He could tell when danger's coming, and he sells lightning rods to people to protect them from the evil. Again, doesn't explain any of the history or where they came from or anything. There's also a magic carousel that can, if it goes forward, it makes you older. If it goes backwards, it makes you younger. And so the kids end up seeing that all this horrible stuff is going on, and they realize people are being, once people fall into the temptation, they kind of become enslaved by Mr. Dark. And so the kids are trying to stop the carnival. And then the dad gets involved, Mr. Holloway. He actually believes the kids and starts helping them. And it all ends in a climatic battle at the carnival in the House of Mirrors. And Mr. Dark ends up getting stuck on the carousel and aging until he turns into a skeleton. And at the end, Mr. Holloway is deciding to live life again, and he's running around like a child playing with the children. That's a very quick recap of what the film is about. I know I left some stuff out, but that's just kind of the gist of the movie. So Caleb, what did you think of the film overall?
So overall, this film was not for me. It's one of those movies that I love the ideas, I love the themes. It like everything it has going for it. But unfortunately, I think what really brings it down is and I find this happens a lot whenever it comes to um, either like old children's movies or just not all old movies, but some old movies in general. I just found this to be uh, lacking in engagement, and it was kind of boring to me.
So I will say that the first half of the film was very very slow, and then I think it catches up or it speeds up towards the end. And there are some cool scenes that I liked. There is a scene in the library, a confrontation between Holloway and Mr. Dark, where the boys are hiding, and Mr. Dark is tempting Holloway with youth, and he's tearing pages out of a book. And every time he tears a page
Mhm.
out, he's like, "Oh, there's another year gone. Oh, oh, you could have been young. Oh, you know." I thought that scene was really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's like if we're talking about like the best part, I gotta say it's Jonathan Pryce's performance.
yeah. Oh, I agree, and I liked. I don't know who played Holloway. Jason Robart. I thought he was great as Holloway. Also, I thought those two were the best part of the movie. Although
Mhm.
he was like old.
Yeah,
It was like hard to believe that he was the father of this kid.
right.
Um, yeah, so I liked the film overall. I thought that I mean, I didn't think it was like the greatest thing ever, but I could see why people like it. Um, I thought the dialogue was, I don't know if I'm gonna say this right. It looked a little flowery, a little bit too flowery. Like sometimes they say that dialogue looks one way when it's written, but if you say it aloud, it doesn't sound the same. And it seems like if you were reading a book, this dialogue would have been fine, but hearing it spoken, it just didn't sound right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. That I've read some books and then gone to adaptations and definitely felt that. Um, I don't know where that term "flowery" comes from though, but I definitely know what you
I don't
mean.
know if flowery is the right word, but you know what I mean. It's like
Yeah,
reading an Alan Moore book like Watchmen, and then if you just read that dialogue out loud, it does not sound right. But it sounds great when you're reading it in the book, you know.
yeah.
Um, so there was that issue. Did you watch Matt Draper's video on this?
I watched a little bit of it, just because what Matt Draper does is he usually kind of goes into like the history of the work.
Hmm.
And funny enough, something he said that I don't see it at all is he said that the book was written for a movie, but it came out in book form first, and I'm like, I don't see that at all. Like I could definitely buy that this works better as a book.
Yeah, it's well. So if you watch the whole video, what happens is um, they go behind Bradbury's back and change everything. They change the script and everything.
Oh,
And so they did a test screening and there was like zero reaction. And Bradbury kept telling me you ruined it. And so Disney had to go back and let Bradbury take control and kind of ghost direct and do a bunch of reshoots and stuff. So they said there's some scenes where the kids look older than they were, you know, because it was like a year later they had to reshoot shots and stuff.
oh, so
And
this is one of the first 10-month later Disney reshoots.
yeah, and I could tell when I was watching the movie, like the quality of shots would change. Like sometimes the shot would look one way, and then the next shot the quality would look way better, and you could kind of tell that two different people were making a movie, and it was getting kind of cut together and stuff. Um, and I was kind of reading the book summary, and the book is fairly close to what we see in the movie, other than it's more about joy and happiness that destroys the Dust Witch at the end, and what stops Mr. Dark at the end, and less about and his like. There's a scene where he starts laughing. Holloway does, and that's what shatters all the mirrors in the
Mhm.
uh, House of Mirrors and all that. So there's
Okay.
some little difference like that. I think one of the reasons this movie sticks with people is, well, number one, Disney tried to hide this movie. It's been, you know, they showed on TV a few times and then just kind of went away. It got like a a bare bones DVD release at one point, and then if you wanted the Blu-ray, you had to be in part of the Disney Collectors Club. So it's a movie that I'm amazed it's on Disney Plus at all at the moment, because they really tried to kill that this movie ever happened. They tried to bury it.
Yeah. Well, I
Um,
mean, it's kind of a Streisand effect where like they try to hide it, and that only makes the film itself more desirable.
right, and there are a couple of scenes that, I mean, I thought they were tame now, but I could see if I saw this when I was 5 years old. Like, I think this came out when I was like 4. If I had seen this movie as a kid, like the scene where he sees the vision of the guillotine cutting off his head, that would have messed me up as a kid. That would have
Yeah.
just been, or when Mr. Dark, I don't know if he's dead at the end. He turns into the skeleton at the end. It's kind of implied that the little person carries him away at the end, like they're going to bring him back to life somehow. Um, that yeah, I could see how those scenes would have stuck with me over the years, or the scenes of all the spiders and things. Yeah, I could see why this would stick with you as a child if you had saw it as a child. And but overall, I thought it was just okay. I think this is one I would love to see get a remake. Maybe not by Disney.
I agree. Oh yeah, I mean, it could be by Disney, it could not be by Disney. I mean, it has less to do with what company does it. It has more to do with, like we were talking about earlier. You take a look at where a country is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I there's also like there's some things that, like, I agree you don't need to look at, or you don't need to explain. Um, Part of me does want some explanation on Jim's dad, though.
Yes. Okay. Let's talk about Jim's dad. I had a theory.
Well,
Um,
if he's a world explorer named Nightshade, that's like that's a great franchise.
well, I had a theory, and of course, it's not true. The more I thought about it, I was like, okay, that's not true.
Okay.
But Holloway says that when you were 4, you were drowning, and I froze up and I couldn't rescue you, but he rescued you. Nightshade did. And then Jim's mom says, he's talking about he's going to leave town when he's older, and he says, when you leave town, your dad will truly be dead, or something like that. I thought that Jim was the dad, that he had previously rode the carousel and got turned into a 4-year-old or a kid and had just forgotten, and now she was raising him as a kid. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's one of those things that, like, man, I love the ideas that could come out of this.
Yeah, that just felt like where the movie was going, because he kept wanting to be older. Like there was this temptation, and maybe he had already, because they said the carousel had previously came to the town. Maybe he had previously rode the carousel, got turned into a baby or a kid. He doesn't remember, and so he's remembering wanting to be older. I don't know. There's little things like that are there, but it again, it doesn't make sense. And I think the book goes into great detail about the day he was born and all this stuff. So it doesn't work, but I think it's a cool theory regardless. So
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing, you get an idea like that, and it doesn't work in a movie. Man, that's another story to be told.
yeah.
Um,
I did like the part also where they're having the parade and are searching for him, and the kids are hiding in the grate and all that, and the dad's trying to cover for him. And apparently the scene in the book, the dust witch is there, and that's why he's blowing the cigar smoke everywhere to cloud her senses so she can't smell the children.
mhm.
Like there's stuff that I think makes more sense in the book than came across in the film.
Yeah. Also,
So
also the Dust Witch in this film is played by Pam Grier.
Yeah, which I kept going. She looks so familiar. I could figure out the Adrian. Said, "Oh, that's Pam Grier." I was like, "What?" So, yeah. Um. So yeah, overall, I think it's a fine film, and I think your mileage may vary though. If you have nostalgia for it, of course you're gonna like it a lot more than we did. And some of the
Yeah.
special effects are a little lacking. It was early '80s, and I think the film was already way over budget from the reshoots and stuff. So some of the special effects are not that great. But I did
Mm,
like some of the performances in a couple of scenes. Um, so I'd give it
yeah.
like a 3 out of 5.
Yep.
It's fine. It's
Yep.
harmless.
Yeah. Harmless is definitely the word. I think what it really comes down to, at least for me, is it's one of those things where like I love the ideas, and like it's luckily it's not one of those things, because there are some times where a movie I love the ideas, but the execution is so bad that it pisses me off. Um,
Mhm.
this isn't so bad that it pisses me off, but the execution is lacking, and that it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, you could tell that the tone kind of changes from the first half of the film. The second half of the film, you can kind of tell there's two different directors' visions clashing, and yeah, it's kind of a
Yeah.
mess. And I would like I said, I think a remake or like a even like a TV special miniseries or something would, or I guess now would be a Disney Plus miniseries. I would much rather
Mhm.
see,
Yeah. I I mean, I always at this point there's only one man that I 100% trust in horror. Give this to Mike Flanagan. Let him do
yeah,
this.
yeah. I think that would be fine. Uh, yeah. So just to switch gears real quick, I watched this, then immediately watched the second movie, which was probably a mistake because I watched a far better second film after this. I watched Weapons right after this, and
Oh
I
man.
loved Weapons. It's so
Oh
good.
man. So I am definitely so me, Cameron, and my dad were gonna go see that in theaters. But
Uh-huh.
the night we were gonna go, I had kind of like a mini panic attack unrelated to Weapons, to
Uh-huh.
more about work. So we've been meaning to see it. It as soon as it came on HBO Max, I'm like, oh yes, yes, I am so excited to watch this. So for you, it was good.
Yeah, I mean, there's only like one or two what I consider jump scares, which is my kind of film. So it's more about the story, and it is gory. I will say that, but yeah, I really liked it. So
Yeah, yeah. All right, awesome. Well, I mean, if we're talking about horror movies, I we watched a horror movie with my parents this week, because Weapons isn't really like that's not really my mom's bag. So we watched something else. So we watched something that we knew was gonna be bad.
mhm,
Um, but I mean, it kind of exceeded our expectations of how bad it was.
mhm.
um, which is the I Know What You Did Last Summer remake.
No, no, yeah,
Yeah. So that movie was hilarious because it was like three different tones.
mhm,
Uh, because there would be scenes where like uh, it's like the movie couldn't decide whether or not um they wanted to poke fun at the modern youth, uh, or play the characters completely straight. Because there are times where they're playing the characters straight, but then there are times whenever like Madeline Klein's like, we need to get my personal empath involved in this, stuff like that. And there are movies that poke fun at like modern influencer culture and all that, like horror movies, like Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is hilarious.
mhm.
Um, but like this one goes back and forth, and then towards the end, now we're gonna be like a woman empowerment, let's go kick some uh and I'm like, this one's coming out of nowhere. And I also called the movie like, you know what, I don't even care, I'm gonna spoil it because I know you don't care, and if anyone else cares, they shouldn't care. um as soon as Freddie Prinze Jr. shows up, I'm like, oh, okay, so they're doing the thing where he's the killer, uh, and he like he's so traumatized from the first and second movie that now he's the killer,
Hmm.
and that is exactly what it was.
Yep.
Which is funny because I've always said that that would be a cool like plot for a Scream movie. Like, there's got to be a Scream movie eventually where maybe Sydney snaps, and I think that would be cool. Uh, but it definitely didn't work for this one.
That has been my idea for a Scream film for a long time, where you start like normal. There's two killers going around killing people, and all of a sudden the two killers realizing they're being hunted by a third killer. They don't know who it is, and it would be Sydney that she is just totally snapped, and it's just
Yeah, that would be so cool.
yeah,
Which I mean, Scream 7 comes out in February, so maybe.
yeah,
uh, um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying. I watch a lot of horror movies
yeah.
in October. What else? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna change the title. It's gonna be like Something Wicked This Way Comes and Other Stories.
Nice.
Um, I saw Shelby Oaks.
Well, how was that?
It was. It wasn't great. um,
Okay, Shelby
uh,
Oaks is made by a YouTuber, right?
yeah, it is a Chris Stuckman film.
Okay.
Um, and I mean, it's one of those things where like, man, I really respect uh, the hustle to do it. But
Yeah.
then there's also like there are other YouTubers that go on to make films that are they're better films.
Yeah, making a
Like
movie is super, super hard. Anybody that thinks it's easy, it is not.
yeah. Yeah. So
So,
so so there's the respect part, but I mean
mhm,
it definitely doesn't change the fact that it's a combination of every modern horror movie that I've ever seen. um and so it was just okay. I think I and the thing is I think I've watched a lot of other YouTubers reviews on it. I think a lot of people are being really nice about it. Jeremy Johns is the one who I was like, oh, okay, you're giving him a fair shake. You're actually giving him the criticism that this needs.
yeah,
um, but it's not so bad that I'm like, man, Chris Stuckman just got to stick to reviewing movies. Like I definitely think that he has a vision and there's something there. So definitely keep going.
yeah.
That that's
Uh,
that that's my review.
yeah. For me, I also watched In the Mouth of Madness by
Ooh,
John Carpenter. Uh, I thought it was interesting. Again, I don't think it's like terribly scary or anything like that, but the concepts of being driven mad. Do you know anything about that movie?
I don't. It's been on my list for a long time. And then I mean, it definitely shot up more whenever Doctor Strange came out because
Hmm.
it took the name. But I still never got around to it.
It's I won't go too deep into the plot, but it's about a writer that is writing books that are Lovecraftian in nature, and then the author goes missing, and anybody that reads the book is starting to go crazy. So a insurance investigator, someone that investigates insurance scams, is sent to try and find the missing author, and so that's what the movie is about.
Okay, that that kind of reminds me of um, there's a Stephen King uh story that I kind of like. I don't know how you make it into a movie, but
Hmm.
it's such a cool idea. I think he co-wrote it with Guggenheim, with Mark Guggenheim. Um, and so it's called N, like the letter N period.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's about this guy who has OCD. And for those of you who don't know the actual ins and outs of the psychology of OCD, um, whenever someone like has to turn on and off lights the correct way, or they have to wash their hands the correct way, or they have to touch everything uh, in in the room, they do that. You know, the majority of studies states they do that because they're afraid something bad is going to happen, and it it's from the perspective of their therapist. And so they're talking, and it turns out that with his OCD, he actually is preventing something bad from happening because he's actually fighting off these Lovecraftian cosmic horror forces that if he stops doing what he's doing, they will destroy the Earth. um, and then he dies, and so then the therapist is the one that has to. He's the one who like kind of gets the OCD because the idea is uh the sometimes what'll happen in therapy is sometimes most times hopefully a therapist will be able to help a patient. Sometimes transference happens. Transference is whenever the issues of the patient are transferred to the therapist.
Hmm.
And so the whole idea is transference. It's a novel. It's one of his short stories. I don't know how you make a movie out of it. Um, but yeah, I mean that what you were talking about kind of gives me those vibes.
Yeah, I think In the Mouth of Madness it's a good movie. I think some of the execution is a little bit off, but I think it is it's pretty good.
Hmm.
Uh, and just the talk of what is reality, and reality is what sane people say it is, but what if everybody's insane, and what happens to reality then, and all that. So it's
Hmm.
uh it's yeah, it's an interesting story, and it feels very much like Stephen King. They even reference Stephen King in the movie and stuff. So um
Ooh, John Glover's in it.
yeah, and Charlton Heston, and yeah, all kinds of people. um so um I also watched The Mist, and I was watching a
Love
video on The
this.
Mist. So we're going to talk a little bit about the ending of The Mist. There was a theory that another YouTuber had, and I just want to talk about here. There's a channel called Poltergeist,
Yeah. Hmm.
and he was talking about it. And in the film, The Mist is a fog takes over a town. People are stuck inside a supermarket. Anybody that goes out in the mist is killed by creatures that are in the mist. And there's a crazy lady in the supermarket who starts like a religious cult inside the supermarket. And the theory that Poltergeist said was that everything that she says comes true throughout the whole film, so that she is actually right. And he kind of implied that she was being influenced by what's his name? I'm not a huge Stephen King guy, but is it Jack
Uh,
Flag? Is that, or
Randall
what's
Flagg.
it? Randall Flagg. Thank you. Jack Flag's a Marvel character. Randall Flagg, yes. Um, but she says the boy must be sacrificed, and she tries to get everybody to kill the boy, and they won't do it. And then at the end of the film,
Oh my gosh.
the main character, they run out of gas and they're running out of food, and there's no escape, and they only have 4 bullets, or he only has 3 bullets or whatever, 4 bullets. There's 5 people in the car, and he ends up, spoilers, killing everybody in the car, and then he runs out into the mist hoping to die, and then the mist goes away and the military shows up and rescues him. So Poltergeist's theory was they could have sat there for another month and the mist would not have lifted until the boy died, because the boy had to be sacrificed for the mist to be lifted.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man. Okay. So this, I mean, this just brings up so many other things because like Stephen King stuff is so interconnected and it all goes back to the Crimson King.
Mhm.
Uh because Randall Flagg is a disciple of the Crimson King,
Right.
which all takes a head in the Dark Tower.
Mhm.
And if that is the case, then what was so special about his son that they wanted
Yeah,
a?
the Poltergeist. If you watch the video, go watch his video on the mist. He talks about, was he someone who was going to one day stop Randall Flagg? Did he have the Shining? There's all this. What was special about this
Yeah.
kid? Why did he have to die?
Oh,
Yeah,
that is so interesting.
yeah. But
I
apparently, the book ending and the movie ending are different. But Stephen King approved of this changes for the ending of the movie. So
Oh yeah, I think that this ending is better.
yeah.
It's one of the few times where I'm like, man, the movie's kind of better than the book.
Hmm.
um, but yeah, we were talking horror movies and Stephen King quite a bit yesterday because it was my family, and then my uncle Craig and my papa were with us because we were taking them to their first Lou City game, and so we were in like a Craft House Pizza and talking about all this. And like we're talking about like 1408, which that you know what? Have you seen 1408 with like John Cusack?
I've seen Poltergeist's video about it. I
Oh,
haven't seen
oh,
I've,
okay.
I've seen his review of it and
Oh, okay.
him
So
going over the multiple endings the movie has. There's several
uh,
different endings.
yes, yes. Okay, gotcha. Well, I was gonna say that I mean, you already know endings, whatever. You already know where it goes. I was gonna say
Mhm.
that might be one that you kind of dig. Um,
Yeah, I definitely want to. It's on my list to eventually check out. I've got a few movies right now of horror films I'm wanting to try out. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch is on my list.
okay.
Doctor Sleep has been on my list for a while.
Oh, I love Doctor Sleep.
Yeah, so I think those are the two. Oh, and the original Wicker Man. Those are the three that I've been wanting to check out. So,
The original Wicker Man.
not the Nicolas Cage nonsense, the original. So,
um, yeah, I mean, I I really like this time of year because like it's uh I don't remember what it was. So the weird thing is before I've been told this story before I was born. My dad is super into horror movies,
mhm.
and then I don't remember what movie it was, but apparently like he was watching one like and like he collected horror movies like and put them on a shelf. He like collected these movies. Um, he was watching one and then turns to me where when I was like a baby or a toddler, and I was just watching too, and it was like during a really scary part, and that's whenever he realized, oh man, I'm a dad. So he like turns it off, and eventually, like he just sells his collection, and that's when he starts that collection that he has of superhero movies because he's like, I want to collect something. Um, and then I guess kind of because of that, I was always kind of an intimidatable kid
Mhm.
who like I didn't like horror movies. And then I don't know, like when I was like 24, 25, something like that, something just clicked, and now I watch horror movies like all the time. But people think I'm weird because of it. And it's like October's the time where like I get to talk about this and people not think I'm weird.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. And I'm I like horror films in general. Like I like the plots of them, so I'm more of reading them on Wikipedia or watching people's reviews or reactions to them. But like I said, I'm getting better about jump scares are my big issue. But I think I'm
Mhm.
kind of getting used to them.
Well, yeah, and
Um,
I mean honestly, I think that like at this point, jump scares are kind of like taboo and seen as kind of just like a horror cheap shot, even amongst like horror veterans. So I think we're kind of just getting away from them because there are more creative ways to scare people, and a jump scare is just so lazy.
And that's kind of why, let's just loop it back around. Something wicked this way comes. I enjoyed the scene of him ripping the pages out of the book and saying, "Oh, you had, this was something I hadn't seen before," and I thought, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Yeah.
So I like when things are, or something new that I haven't seen 1,000 times, and yeah, and I think that horror films are the most creative films in Hollywood at the moment because everything else is just sequels and remakes and superhero films and stuff we've seen 100 times. So
Yeah.
all right, well, that is our recommendations for some movies you should check out. And if you haven't seen it, Late Night with the Devil, we still recommend. We love that
Oh yeah.
movie. So yeah, if you've got any Halloween recommendations or movies that scared you as a child, please list them down below. If you haven't, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share this out with your friends, leave a comment. If you love the show, if you hate the show, whatever, just let us know. Next week, we're going to switch gears a little bit and watch a movie that's been kind of on both our radars. We have a curiosity about it. The Day the Earth Blew Up, starring Daffy Duck and Porky Pig. We will be checking out next week. I'm a huge Looney Tunes fan, but I get nervous when I see new stuff with the Looney Tunes characters in it. So we will be checking that out next week. And we're going to put comic books a little bit on hold through the rest of the year. Focus more on movies, just because it is the busy time of the year, and setting aside time to read 12, 20 issues of comic book is a lot. It's a lot easier just to watch a 2-hour movie in our week. So, so that'll be our focus. But until next time, I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
We'll catch you next time in the deep end.
See ya.